What is up, guys, and welcome back into another Rams House video. Thank you so much for stopping in. If you do like Rams content like this all the time, please make sure to click that subscribe button because it really helps me and my channel grow and reach more Rams fans like you. So thank you for doing that, and now let's get into the video. So today I'm going to be talking about this scary Rams receiving group, in which I believe is going to be the scariest and really the deepest receiving core in the NFL. You start by talking about Robert Woods, who I think the special thing about him is he can do it all. There's no particular trait about him that stands out. It's just about him being able to do everything. He can handle those jet sweeps. One of the things that he's really good at is he's an amazing blocker, and he can run the whole route tree, and he's really good at doing that. And I know that he is really good with those toe jag swags, and he's just really good with, like I said, everything that you would want a receiver to do. There's no one thing he can do the best. He can do anything that you really need him to do. So he's a special guy, and definitely one of my favorite receivers and players on this roster for sure. And I think he's just so humble, and that's what makes him cool too, is just all those things that he's good at, but additionally to that is just him being a humble type of guy that makes him really special. And then next up you got Cooper Kupp, who honestly he is one of the best receivers in my opinion in the NFL, but he's just not that recognized. And I think the route running he possesses is really nice. I love his footwork, and he's really good at manipulating the defenders with his shoulders by shimmying them around. And again, his footwork is so quick that even if you see the same moves every game from him and multiple times in a game, he can still get you with it because he's so manipulative, and his footwork is just so quick and so decisive that you just never really know what he's going to do. And one thing that really stands out about him is that catching. He's amazing with catching the ball. I say he's one of the best catchers on this team, and you can always trust him to come down with that football. He's not a type of guy that, we haven't seen to be able to be a guy to go up and get a ball if it's thrown deep, but I'm sure he can do that as well. So amazing guy like that. And the yards after catch that Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp possess is just pretty incredible. Honestly, that's just one of the biggest things to their game as well, is that yard after catch, and they're like the number one duo in the NFL as far as that goes. So that's a really nice thing to have. And then you have Van Jefferson, who we did not see a ton of him last year, but I'm still really high on him. I was high on him last year as well, and I think he's just a guy he's humble like the rest of this receiver group, but his route running is really crisp and it's really good. There's not really much things he could get better at with that route running. His catching, I think that's the only thing that I would have to point out, is his catching just to get a little bit better. It's not like it's bad, but he can do some good catches, but that's only the one thing just that I noticed last season is, if he gets hit, sometimes he doesn't hold on to the ball, but at the same time, he didn't have that many reps. His catching isn't bad. That's just one thing that I would point out. I can't wait to see what this young guy can do as well. And then you bring up Deshaun Jackson, who honestly a lot of people are worried about if he can stay healthy or not. I think the way the Rams are going to use him, they're not going to call on him to be a number one guy to be in there all the time. He's going to bring that speed to the offense that they really lacked last year and really missed last year, and he's going to be inserted in different things to be a decoy to going deep, or actually going deep and making Stafford throw that thing deep, because Stafford knows how to do it. He's one of the best at doing it with that cannon on his arm. And Deshaun Jackson can bring so much to the table. Then you bring up Tutu Atwell, who's another speed guy who's smaller. I'm not worried about his injuries. Some people think because he's small, he's not going to do well and he could get injured right away. He's taken plenty of hits. I'm not worried about that. He, I think, is going to be kind of a gadget guy the first year. I think he's going to be a lot of jet sweeps, because he's that type of guy who on a jet sweep, he could just take it to the house. And I think his route running is actually really good and overlooked by a lot of people just because they look at his speed and his size right away. But his route running is pretty good as well. And I think you could see some packages this year, which is going to be scary, with Tutu Atwell and Deshaun Jackson in on the same play. And then you just don't know you're gonna have to cover. Then you got Tyler Higbee, who is a tight end. I really like Tyler Higbee's game. I think he could have a breakout year this year. Just a guy you can always trust on the dump offs, or even just trust in the 10-15 yard range if the play's broken. You like to have a guy like that, and I think Stafford is going to look to him a lot in those situations. Then you got Jacob Harris, who I'm really high on. Honestly, and McVay's raving about him being the best rookie in OTAs. We'll see how that pans out later in the season, but I think there's not going to be a ton for him to do this year just because of how deep this group is, and that really shows you how good this group is when you have a guy who's this talented who may not even get that many reps. And so when you take a look at this group as a whole, with Jacob Harris, I want to go through his traits a little bit here. He is one of those guys who's got speed. He's 4.39, and he's a big body guy who's a hybrid tight end wide receiver, and I think Stafford's going to love this guy. The Rams are going to love this guy. Stafford loves to have those guys he can just throw it up to and trust to come down with it. That's the type of guy he is, and he's a tough guy. He's an amazing guy. I can't wait to see how the Rams use him, and honestly, for this wide receiver group as a whole, I think it's just going to be so fun to see how McVay makes this offense look with all these different types of weapons you got on one team. There's so many different things and different packages you can put together, and all for Stafford, who's going to have an amazing year in my opinion. I want to know what you think about this receiver group, but I see a lot of people in the comments calling it the Scary 7. I'm excited to see what this group does. I still think it's the deepest and most elite wide receiver group just because of what they've done over the last few years with this group. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. As always, horns up, God bless. You guys are the best, and have an amazing day.